guys, it's Glenn from Glenn'sCarCollection.com, and today we're going to talk about two of my favorite cars for 2021, the new M3 and M4. We're going to go over options, we're going to go over pricing, and if you don't like these big grills, I'm going to give you a great alternative at the end of the video, so make sure to watch the whole thing. Alright, so they're here, and these are available for sale at BMW Tenafly. Thank you for allowing me to film this video. The 2021 M3 sedan and M4 actually come two models. The pure model, which is a rear drive 6-speed manual, or the competition model, which only comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now the competition models for the M3 or the M4 can be all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. The pure model, even though I don't think they call it pure anymore, the base model M3 sedan only comes in rear drive and a manual transmission. So the M4 that you see here is actually rear wheel drive. The all-wheel drive is not yet available, but should be coming shortly. Place your order now if you want the all-wheel drive, but you can only choose the 8-speed automatic transmission. Starting prices, let's do the M3 first, and then we can do the M4. The M3 sedan base model, rear drive, manual transmission, has 473 horsepower, gets 23 miles per gallon according to BMW, not the way you and I would drive it, but the way a normal person would drive it for the EPA test. And with the rear drive, has a 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds. Starting MSRP is $69,900. Now my M340iX drive is fully loaded. That had a base price of $56,700. And that's actually considered an M Sport. So BMW does consider this, the M340s, as base model M's essentially. And the starting price of the M340iX drive sedan, which I have, an X drive, that's the all-wheel drive, is $56,700. You can get the rear drive version for $54,700. So comparing rear drive cars, it's about a $15,000 upgrade to get the base model M3 sedan. But remember, you get that 3-liter turbo inline 6-cylinder engine, rear drive, and a 6-speed manual transmission. Now if you want to set up to the competition, which will also give you more horsepower, and we'll get into horsepower in a second, you get 503 horsepower instead of 473 horsepower. The same 23 miles per gallon, but your 0 to 60 time now drops to 3.8 seconds, and that's with rear wheel drive. So the M340iX drive, what I have with all-wheel drive, is a 4.1 second 0 to 60, and we know BMW times are conservative. So Motor Trend, Car and Driver, they've been able to pull off 3.8 seconds. So here they're telling you for the M3 competition sedan, which is the same as the M4 competition sedan, 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, and that is with rear drive. Just wait to the automatic. I'm sure you probably can get that down to about 3.6. So the competition is about $3,000 more. We go from $69,900 to $72,800. Now, they're not the lightest cars in the world. They're about, depending on transmission choice and options, you're looking at anywhere from 3,850 pounds to about 3,900 pounds even. Still a fantastic car, whether you get the 473 horsepower or the 503 horsepower. Now, they come in great colors. My choice would be Portimao Blue, which I have on my M340, which is a $550 option. The M3 that you see here is the base model, so it's got the 6-speed manual transmission in the rear drive. This beautiful color, Brooklyn Gray, especially with these black accents, is a $550 option. Tanzanite Blue is what this M4 has, and that is actually a $1,950 option, so pretty cool. That Tanzanite, as you see in some of the dark here, it doesn't look as good as when the light shines on it. When the light shines on it or outside in the sun, it looks phenomenal. Now let's talk about the M4. Well, you can get an M440iX drive coupe, which we reviewed on this channel, for $58,500. The M4 coupe, which is the base model, which is rear drive and a 6-speed manual transmission, 473 horsepower, same 0 to 60 time, 4.1 seconds, same miles to gallon, 23. $71,800 is the starting MSRP. Go up about $3,000 and you can get the M4 Competition Coupe, which is only an 8-speed manual, but now you get the 503 horsepower, the same 23 miles per gallon, 0 to 60, just like the M3 Competition Sedan, drops to 3.8 seconds. And again, that's with rear drive. The all-wheel drive versions are not available yet, but will be very soon. So if you want the new M3 and M4 in all-wheel drive to make it a more usable car, you have to get the competition, which gives you the 503 horsepower, the all-wheel drive, the 8-speed automatic, and the 0 to 60 of probably under 3.8 seconds while you add the all-wheel drive. I wouldn't be surprised if it is 3.6. If you want a manual transmission for the M3 or the M4, your only choice is, let's call it the base model, which is the 473 horsepower model. But the good news is my favorite combination with that manual, you will get the rear wheel drive, which is my favorite way to do it. Has some really cool colors. Free options are Alpine White and Sao Paulo Yellow, which is that really bright yellow that you've probably seen on all the M4 press pictures. Black Sapphire, one of my favorites, my Z3M Coupe was Black Sapphire, $550 option, and this goes the same for the M3 and the M4. Portimao Blue Metallic, which you've seen on my M340i X-Drive, which I love that color, $550. Other $550 colors are Toronto Red Metallic, Isle of Man Green Metallic, which you've seen in the press photos, which I think would look really awesome on the M3. Brooklyn Gray, which is what this M3 is, $550 option. And then the optional colors get higher from that. Dravid Gray Metallic, $1,950. What the M4 is here, Tanzanite Blue 2 Metallic, $1,950, which is gorgeous, but you need to see it in the sun. This dark showroom doesn't do it justice. And then you have two frozen colors available at launch, both $3,600. Frozen Brilliant White Metallic, but my favorite, Frozen Portimao Blue Metallic. So fantastic. Now these cars, when I filmed this video, I'm posting this in March, they were actually for sale at BMW Tenafly. Talk to the sales manager there, Steve Huracan, call him, ask for him, tell him Glenn sent you. If these cars are still available, I'm sure he would sell them to you. If not, he can order one for you, no problem. And what would I pick? I would pick, if I didn't get my M340i X-Drive, and I wish I knew these cars were so cool, I would have waited. I would buy this Brooklyn Gray 6-speed manual right off the showroom floor, and that would be my new car. I had my E90 M3 for 6 years with snow tires, never got stuck once in the winter. And they actually look better in person. The grill isn't as bad in person, so definitely come down to their showroom and see in person, or your local BMW if you're not in New Jersey. But it's a gorgeous car, even better looking than the F80, which I thought was a beautiful looking BMW. Now, standard wheels are 18s in the front, 19s in the back, so they're staggered. BMW always puts the blah wheels as far as they look for the smaller wheels, so you always want to upgrade. And what you see on these cars are the upgraded for $1,300, 19s in the front and 20s in the rear. Now, if you're worried about these grills, again, come down and see them in person first. Once you test drive the car, who cares what the grills look like? And they've actually been growing on me. Do I like them? No, I don't like them. But they've definitely been growing on me. And I wouldn't be afraid to buy this Brooklyn Gray car right now. And who cares what the grills look like? I just think the car is going to be phenomenal. Now, if we want BMW for the next generation to keep rear drive, or even to keep rear drive in this generation, because you remember it went away on the M5, is we have to buy manual transmission cars. If 90% of the people are going to take the competition package with the all-wheel drive and the 8-speed automatic, guess what? For the next generation, there would be no business case to make the manual. You've seen the news. If you're a car enthusiast, the Porsche 991.2 GT3s, 70% took the manual transmission, so that's fantastic. So guess what? For the 992 GT3s, there'll be a manual transmission available. When Porsche comes out with something else in 5 years, or a second version of that, guess what? There'll be a manual transmission because they have a good business case for it. Remember, even Porsche on the 991.1 GT3s, they only came with dual clutch transmission, and then they brought it back due to popular demand, or maybe even outrage, and 70% of the people took it. So that's what we have to do here for these cars. So if you're on the fence with all-wheel drive and rear drive, get the rear drive manual. Believe me, you'll be fine with a good set of snow tires. Honestly, unless you have really, really steep hills to climb, I would get a manual transmission rear drive with snow tires over an all-wheel drive car any day of the week with all-season tires. So something to keep in mind. And if you're buying one of these all-wheel drive cars, they're going to come with summer tires anyway, so you're going to have to spend the money on winters. So if you're going to get winter tires anyway, which gives you superior traction compared to obviously summers or even all seasons, just get the rear wheel drive then, because you're getting winter tires anyway. Either way, so I think it makes sense. Now, if you really have a trouble with these grills and it's keeping you from buying the cars, you have great alternatives. You can get the F80 M3 or the F82 M4. I think those are going to become bargains because people are always going to want the latest and greatest car. So you're going to see a glut of those on the used market, and very soon is going to be the time to buy those cars because they're going to drop in value with so many cars coming on the market. And you'll get a steal on that car, and you'll get it at the bottom of the depreciation curve since there's a new M3, M4 out. But if you want a car that looks similar to these cars without the grills and still a fantastic daily driver, consider what I bought, the M340i xDrive. You have the small grills. So that's what confuses me a little, that the M440 has the big grills, maybe because it came out later as the M4. But the M340i xDrive, even though the new M3 is based on that, has the smaller grills. So guess what? I think the grills look gorgeous on the 330 or the M340i. You can still buy those new off the showroom floor, and then your grill problem is solved. So let me know what you think about these cars in the comments. What would you get? Would you get the competition? Now, if you get the competition, your really only choice is rear drive or all-wheel drive because you have the 503 horsepower, you have the 8-speed automatic as your only transmission. So if you do pick the competition, let me know if you would take rear drive or all-wheel drive, or would you take the base model with the rear drive and the manual? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're doing that, you might as well let me know the color you're going to choose. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.